really turning up here. I'm just getting set up on YouTube at the same time. Okay. Why am I staring at YouTube? I'm just sitting staring. I'm absolutely shocked. It's 4:20. My whole day was off today because I didn't go to the gym first thing in the morning like I normally do. Like that, it's been months that I haven't done that. And then I went later on in the afternoon. So it feels like it should be about 1 o'clock, but it's 4. But you know, that morning routine, I'm absolutely regimented with it. And if you don't do it, it throws off your whole day. So I throw off real easily. Anyway, so welcome to my live. This is one of my unscheduled lives. So I'll be going from Facebook to Instagram to TikTok, and I'm on YouTube the whole time. It's Bratbusters Parenting Everywhere. And anyway, so check out the link above. You can get my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, and you can hire me for coaching. Well, you can send me an email, and if I have time and if I think it's a good fit. Sometimes I'll just send you to my boot camp course or even just the behavior board or something else, but because it's got to be a fit. I'm really busy these days, so that's why I need you to email me. You can't just sign up directly for coaching anymore. And if it's crisis, put crisis in the subject line. I specialize in teen crisis work, or actually any crisis work with kids, but put that in the subject line. You'll be my first priority with coaching. So, and then my existing or past clients are my second priority. So, oops, sugar. Anyway, okay, how do you stop 2-year-old from biting? I have a course on that. They're about consistent corrective actions. It's a really great name for a course. Toddlers who bite and hit, something like that. Anyway, check it out in the link above, but it teaches them sort of a better way, like you're just consistent corrective actions, and they'll eventually learn, hey, wait a minute, this isn't working for me because every time I do bite, I get pushed away. You don't shove them, but you just say no and you sort of push them away. Consistent corrective actions, they are not about words. These mini therapy sessions, I know they're trendy right now, but they're absolute garbage. They were invented to make mom feel good about herself. They have nothing to do with the child, and they don't work. Yeah. So wasting your breath. I have 4 kids and would have unbalanced behavior boards. I have some children who are very easy and some that aren't. Oh, okay. What would you do when one child? Oh, okay. So you got a target and you don't want to make that obvious on the behavior board. Some parents have done that. They go, stop hitting and biting and all that. And the rest of the kids continue being as wonderful as always. What you do is you take it down a notch for the one that is your target and maybe move it up a notch for the rest. You've got to make it look fair. So it could be something simple like follow chore chart and have 1 or 2 really easy chores for each child to do. So you don't have to come in hard with the target. Actually, it's the opposite. The harder you come in with the target kid, you know what I mean, the feisty one, the worse it is. You don't want them to feel worse about themselves. Usually the kid who's acting out has low self-esteem. You don't want to make that worse. So anyway, yeah. So take it down a notch for the target and maybe move it up a little and make it the same for everybody so it's not so obvious. But yeah, usually, and when I get hired for coaching, I'll usually say, which kid is our target here? There's usually one kid that's the target. Sometimes they're all the target, but yeah, oftentimes there's one. So it's very common. I used to, because people are getting used to me more because I'm on social media more now. But years ago, I was just doing mainstream stuff like TV and radio, and people didn't know me as well. And they'd turn up for coaching very differently. They were very defensive. Now people just let it fly. Don't hold back. If you've got one kid that's driving you nuts, tell me. Say they're absolute pain in the butt. They're driving me insane. I say, okay, let's get to work. Don't sugarcoat it. You're wasting your time. Like you're paying good money for coaching. You don't want to waste your time. Okay. So, yeah. Okay, how to handle a whiny 2-year-old at supper time who refuses to eat and throws his food, then cries he's hungry at bedtime. Yeah. By the way, everything with toddlers is temporary. I know it's annoying as anything, but it's temporary. They go through stage after stage after stage. Whenever they throw their food, you say no, you pick it up, throw it in the garbage, and then you hand feed them. And then you can, if they're going to no, then wipe them up, put them down, then maybe 15, 20 minutes later, sit them up again, give them a little bit of food. If they throw it again, do the same thing repeatedly, they can go to bed without a lot of food on their stomach for one night. Okay. I'm not a doctor, but I've never actually heard of a child who doesn't eat much at dinner time actually dying of starvation throughout the night. Yeah, it's going to be a rough time, but the problem is parents are afraid of that. They're afraid of the difficult stuff. That's how you get the results. You got to go through the storm to get to the rainbow. Everyone wants the rainbow, but I want him to eat. Yeah, but it might be a really rough night when he goes to bed hungry. So yeah, it's just rough. Also, we have him help with preparing dinner some nights, and he still doesn't. Who told you that? That could help, but I wouldn't focus on that. Oh shoot! Just a sec. I got the sun coming in. It's been cloudy all day, and as soon as I start doing a live, the sun hits me in the eyes, when you know it. Anyway, hey, my son will be 5 next month, and he's been potty trained for a while, but now I have to wake him up every night to pee, or he sometimes will have an accident. Yeah, just keep waking him up. Sometimes they have weak bladders, or bladders that don't send the message up to the brain, wake up. I can remember laying in bed dreaming about sitting on the toilet and peeing. I think I was about 2 or maybe 3, and I can remember that. It just scared the heck out of me. But yeah, they don't always get the message. So yeah, I would wake them. I just did it that once, but a lot of kids do it like a lot, and they just don't get the message sent correctly. So yeah, you're gonna have to wake them up for now. And of course, the obvious stuff, don't give them much to drink don't give them anything to drink 90 minutes before bed. Oh, this is a tween. So you say how to boost a child's confidence who gets anxiety at the thought of new things. Tween, how to dissipate the fear. Set yourself up as a leader, and that doesn't tend to happen. Leaders calm them down. They feel protected. They feel safe. They feel sort of like they've got a safe place to land. It tends to calm them down. It tends to calm their anxiety, their depression, everything. Like it just tends to calm kids down, being a leader. So check out the boot camp course. If your child, you said tween, so that's 9 to 12 years old. It goes up to 12. And I could have actually gone to 13 with that, but I cut it off at 12. So even if they're 12, that course is still suitable. You're at the height of your leadership between 3 and 12 years old. Not you, but you, as a parent, your children are 3 to 12 years old. So that struck me as funny. Anyway, you're at the height of your leadership when you're 3 to 12 years old. Anyway, when your kids are 3 to 12 years old, that's why the boot camp course is set up the way it is. It's all about your leadership. That's your power years. Before that, they're nuts under the age of 3. And then after that, they're going to start, pushing a little bit, potentially. If you're a leader, they won't. They're going to tell you everything. Okay. My adopted 9-year-old says I don't give her attention. I have 3-year-old and 1-year-old. I feel like giving enough 10 to 13. Okay. Don't give one-on-one time to kids. I was adopted, by the way, so I can relate to this. But yeah, I didn't have any of those feelings because I didn't have younger siblings. And my brother was like 16 years older. So it's not like we were fighting over Barbies or anything. So he was raised an only child, and so was I, really. But yeah, if you're going to spend time with them, don't do a lot of one-on-one time. It tends to build resentment because you're going to do that with the little ones too then, right? Try and do stuff more. When you're working on this for now, you can do one-on-one time later on. But right now, try and do stuff with all of them. Now make the 9-year-old the hero with the little ones. Make the 9-year-old the hero. Do you understand that? Oh, you're such a great, I'm just seeing if it's a boy or a girl, it doesn't say there. Anyway, you're a great big brother, great big sister. Make them the hero. Can you please help? Oh, we're going to be doing this now. You can help with this. So yeah, set them up as the hero. Someone to be idolized by the little ones. But one-on-one time, because you're going to do it with each kid generally, right? So it builds resentment and hate. So whenever kids aren't getting along and there is jealousy and all that, don't do one-on-one time. You can do it later, but not when you're working on this stuff. Yeah, she seems so jealous. Yeah. How can I help my client to get to dedicate? I don't know what you mean. Okay. I'm also on YouTube at the same time while I'm doing this. Whenever I'm doing a live, I'm on YouTube the whole time. YouTube's a real slow burn. I don't do any of my social media. But yeah, it's very slow burn getting followers on YouTube, but that's not our focus really. I mean, we're still on there, But yeah, so I don't get a lot of people. I don't get a lot of people asking questions on YouTube. If you are on YouTube, though, you can ask questions. I do look down there every so often. When I answer I answer the questions on YouTube when I'm changing over from Facebook to Instagram and Instagram to TikTok. I've got some time while I'm waiting for people to turn up. So that's when I look at all the YouTube questions. Oh, poop in the toilet. Okay, you got a kid who won't poop in the toilet. Super common, especially with boys. I'll tell you why. What they do, they don't like the splashback. They don't like the cold feeling and the hanging feeling of the poop. And so that's 3 reasons: the hanging, the splashback, and the cold. So what you do is you get a little porta potty and you put some toilet paper in the bottom, have them help you hike up the heat in the toilet, say there won't be any splashback, and the hanging won't happen because their poop's going to hit the bottom right away. That's my best advice for that. And don't make it a big deal. Yeah, you don't want to poop in the toilet. Okay, here's what we're going to do. Okay, don't make it a big deal. Anything that's a bodily function, if you criticize for that or discipline for that, it can cause some issues. It's a bodily function, and don't ask me to go into it, but it can cause some issues. It's not worth me going into it. You just don't want to do that. The 9-year-old doesn't want to share, or she also doesn't get along with the 3-year-old. That's okay. Play with them together. Play things where you look like a fool. Shoot, I gotta close that blind just a sec. So we've had no sun all day, and then it decides to come out now. Oh, sugar, just a second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I had to do a blinds closing break. Okay. Doesn't get along with the 3-year-old. Yeah, you might want to hire me. If it's that bad, she's adopted. She might have a chip on her shoulder with that. I was adopted. I understand that. You might want to actually look into coaching if it's, if you're really struggling. I don't know your situation. I don't know what kind of parent you are. So now I'm getting all sweaty. So yeah. I can't always take coaching clients on. You have to email me. But you will go in a queue. So I'll, look into it. Anyway. Okay. How do I become a leader after being a pleaser parent to my 13-year-old? You can always change. I specialize in teenage stuff, so you can always change. But you've got to apologize for what you did wrong in the past. Does that make sense? You got to make amends. So, yeah, I don't have a course on teenagers yet. You'd have to hire me for coaching if you're really struggling with your teenager. But you can always become a leader. But check out the behavior board. You still use that. You can call it family law or an accountability chart. The behavior board's completely free. It's in the link above. And you can use that. Just get started with that. See if it works. That might be all you need. It shows you, because leaders are accountable. It's all about your accountability. It's about, parenting to me isn't about discipline. Discipline just gets in the way. It's like a tiny part of it. But really, parenting is about connecting with your kids. It's about bonding with them, being fun. Jeez, I gotta close these blinds too. Sorry about that. Oh, you got a good picture of my butt there, I'm sure. Sorry about that. Anyway, you don't care about any of that. You're just here for the information. So, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, teenagers. I'm going to read out my top 3 tips for parenting teenagers. They're my favorite age, by the way. There's nothing wrong with teenagers. I find them very easy. But the problem is parents don't transition very well into the teen years. It's you. It's not your kids. It's you. You haven't transitioned into the teen years yet. So here's my top 3 tips for parenting teenagers. Number 1 is you listen to understand and show empathy. You don't listen to gather information to lecture with, or they will shut you out. If they want your advice, they'll ask for it. By the way, they already know it. Number 2 is you negotiate pretty much everything, or as much as you can. It goes something like this. Hey, I want your dirty clothes in the hamper from now on. What do you want from me? Like reciprocity, right? You give respect to get it. That's how you do it. You got to give first. And parents say, that's not fair. Do you know what they say to me? I'm like, right, welcome to parenting. It's not fair, okay? You got to give a lot more than you expect to get. You'll get when you're like, I always told my kids, oh, payback will be when you got your own teenagers and I get to sit back and watch the show. They were pretty easy kids though. But another one is I always say, oh, any payback, all the work I put into parenting, that'll pay back when I'm 90 years old and you're changing my diaper. Anyway, I don't laugh at that. Anyway, I'll be in a home, I'm sure. Okay, and number 3 is don't sweat the small stuff. If your teenagers do something stupid and it's not a big deal, you just say, well, that was stupid. Do you want to hear what I did when I was your age? And laugh it off. In other words, it's okay to be human. It's okay to make mistakes. We all do. You do. They do. Everybody does. Life's messy. It's not about not making mistakes and being perfect. It's about being accountable and learning from your mistakes. The odd time throughout my life, I've known people, they're right fighters, they're very insecure, and they never admit when they're wrong. Those people, I'm not attracted to that type of personality because where's the humor? Like, laugh it off. We all make mistakes. There's nothing wrong with making mistakes. I love people who have self-deprecating humor. Like, to me, it's likable. Anyone who sets themselves up as perfect, I just see as a massive, big ball of insecurities. So yeah, and I'm just not attracted to that kind of personality, like in any of my personal life. So yeah, laugh it off. We all make mistakes. Yeah, I need to hire you. I'm struggling. Yeah, if you do, but put down if you're really struggling, teenage stuff. I'll be honest, teenagers are usually my first priority because your problems are usually the biggest. So, but put down teenage or whatever in the thing, and I'll look at it. I am taking on clients today, but tomorrow it could change. I never know. I only take on clients when I think I can book you in within a week of getting back your forms that you filled out. Like, I'm not gonna take your money and then I won't see you for 3 weeks. I just think that's ridiculous. So yeah, I only take on clients when I'm pretty sure I've got enough slots that I can fit you in the next week. Like, for example, sometimes clients will say we're going away for a couple of weeks, so I can't see them the next week. So then I'll take on a new client because I've got a slot. You see what I mean? Okay, I have 3 toddlers. A 4-year-old, I call a toddler under 3, but that 3 and 4 I call a preschool. It's just my own language. 4-year-old, 2-year-old, and 2-year-old twins. They smack, bite, and scream each other sometimes all day. Yeah. The only reason you yell, by the way, most parents yell, is because it does work in the short term, but you hate doing it and you know it's going to backfire down the road. But you don't know what else to do. I teach what else to do. If they're hitting, the problem is that how old are the 2-year-olds, are they almost 3? Because I would say the behavior board used that for all of them. Yeah, I'm just kind of stuck on I'm just wondering how old they are. If they're all hitting all the time, you can't just have the behavior board for the 4-year-old and say no hitting, because you deal with it differently when they're little, like when they're under the age of 3. You deal with it, consistent corrective actions. You could actually do that with the 4-year-old too. Say, every time you hit, I'm going to take a toy away. You're going to be removed from the fun, whatever. So you got to be consistent because they're quite close in age, but I deal with a 4-year-old quite differently from a 2-year-old. But if they're all in the same family, you got twins, sometimes I have to make exceptions. So I use consistent corrective actions with all 3 of them. And I have a course on that if you're interested. It's Toddlers Who Hit and Bite. That's my worst named course. Toddlers Who Hit and Bite. Wow, catchy. Okay, oops. When my 15-year-old daughter is overwhelmed in an argument, or if she's very upset, she will resort to hitting the floor or sometimes her head. Okay, well, why is there an argument? If things are getting heated, you say something like this. I'll tell you what, let's discuss this later. Do not say, we'll talk about it when you calm down. That is talk about, that'll make them more mad than anything. So say, I'll tell you what, things aren't going well right now. How about we talk about it after dinner? Okay, and then you just calmly walk away. So yeah, if they're arguing, I don't argue with kids. I just don't. I say, let's talk about it later. So yeah, my best advice, do not argue with especially a teenager. Just lead to disaster. Plus, leaders don't argue. I reason everything through, and if they're not ready to reason, I don't discuss it. I wait till later. I know what you're thinking, but we have to talk about it because they're doing this and that. If it's that bad, you have to hire me, and I'll explain how you do all this. Plus, I can't give everyone the same advice with teenagers. I need to know where you are. What kind of parent have you been for the last 15 years? I need to know that. I don't go into it, but I just need to understand why you are where you are. And then we work on that. We have to do some work. No one likes me in the first session with teenagers because I'm working on assessing and building your connection. We don't discipline a teenager in the first week or two of coaching. Yeah, we can't. We have to do some legwork first. So yeah, I'm just warning you. I know I got a new client recently and said, we know we're going to hate you in the first session, but we want to hire you anyway. They were listening. They watched my lives. Okay, actually, I have to get going. I'm moving over to Instagram now because I'm busy tonight. So I got to move over to Instagram now, but I'm on YouTube the whole time. And if you're on YouTube and you want to ask a question, now's when you do it because that's when I look at YouTube. I answer the questions when I'm transitioning with the other social media. Actually, YouTube isn't social media. It's a search engine. So, but when I'm transferring social media sites, I answer my YouTube videos. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me. If you want to go over to Instagram, that's where I'm headed now. Happy parenting. Bye now. Here we go. Okay, no questions on YouTube. I've only got one person on there. I haven't got a big following on YouTube yet. I've almost got 1 million followers on social media now, but not many on YouTube yet. Okay. Okay, so welcome to, oh wait, just waiting. Wait till I get about 100. Okay, there we go. Okay, it's weird. I say this every single day. Instagram, everyone turns up in a clump, like you all live together and you all hit your computer. It's the weirdest thing. It doesn't happen anywhere else. Everyone turns up in a clump. Within about 10 seconds, I'll get 100 people all within 10 seconds. It's bizarre. It only happens on Instagram like that. Okay, do any day, what's your best advice to new parents? Because I read your future comment. No, dude, what's your best advice to parents? The first 3 months, mom and baby, happy and healthy. That's it. Don't worry about the housework or anything else. After that, start thinking about how you're going to deal with the toddler years. Baby stuff and really little toddlers up to about 16 months. I think they're kind of babies till they're 15 months. So then just start preparing for how you're going to deal. Get a plan. Think, I know what we're going to do. We're going to, decide who you want to follow, if you want to follow me or someone else. And also, don't follow a lot of different people. If you pick someone that you like, just follow them. And I'll tell you why that's so important. Because if you were to pick and choose different parenting styles from different people, it's going to be a potpourri and a mess. It just doesn't work. Because it's not that theirs is bad and mine is great. It's that we all work like there's a specific method. It would be like looking at different dieting techniques from different people and picking and choosing what you like from each. It wouldn't work, would it? It's like that. Like if you were to throw time out into my parenting, it would be a disaster because I hate time out. I think it's horrible. I think it's mean. It just makes kids feel like garbage. Doesn't teach them anything. It's parenting through fear. I just can't stand time out. Anyway, so you've got to pick a path and just get the idea. It'll all come more naturally once you've been watching someone long enough. You'll go, oh, I know what to do. Okay, also, you meet their needs and manage their wants, 16 months and above. You're kind of transitioning that way. When they're babies, you meet their needs and you meet their wants with babies. In other words, if they cry, you got to pick them up. You don't have to if you've got other kids, but to me, I meet their needs and meet their wants when they're babies, because I couldn't have a baby crying. And then I know people used to say to me, oh, you're spoiling your babies. Every time they cry, you pick them up. They didn't cry a lot, to be honest, but when they did, I picked them up. And I don't care what anyone thought of me. I said, yeah, my baby cries, I pick them up. So yeah, people shut up pretty quick with me. Do you offer in-person coaching? Absolutely not. No. I don't have a clinic or anything. So yeah, I just do Zoom. I only did it. I used to do the odd in-person thing. It's such a disaster because if you're meeting somewhere, I used to hire rooms. If I was dealing with crisis, I would hire a room for something. And then sometimes they just would forget and they wouldn't turn up. And here I am sitting there wasting all my time. So yeah, it's not efficient. It's just not a good way for me to spend my time. There's travel and it's just, yeah. I've got like 15 minutes between sessions. So couldn't do that if it was in person. And if I'm not going to pay for a office. Plus, most of my clients aren't near me. Most of my clients are in other countries. New York, I spent my 50th birthday in New York. That was like 14 years ago, and I loved it. We just walked up and down Manhattan for 8 hours a day. And it virtually became, there's not a lot of public bathrooms in Manhattan. They're very hard to come by. And so what we do is we ate, like we kept sitting down in restaurants. That's how we got to use the bathrooms. So we'd go to a restaurant, we'd pee when we got there, pee during the meal, and then sit there for as long as possible, pee before we left. And then we'd go in search of another restaurant. Sorry, I'm so graphic, but 14-month-old throws food on his tray at mealtime, all on the floor. Yeah. Okay. So what you do is as soon as they throw food, you say no and you throw it in the garbage. Whatever they throw them. Like don't give them all their food at once. So just give them a little bit. If they throw it in the garbage. You say no. You got to be quick, and then you hand feed them. Okay. Don't let them touch food after that. They're going to have a fit. They're not going to want you hand feeding them. That's okay. They don't have to eat. Get them clean. Say, okay, never mind. Get them all cleaned up and put them down. They're going to have a screaming fit. So maybe 10, 15 minutes of them screaming. Say, okay, let's try it again. Give them a little bit of food. Keep doing it over and over and over again. I know you got a notification. Everyone does on Facebook and TikTok too. But they slowly come in. But on Instagram, everyone pops in one go. That's the difference. Everyone gets notifications at the same time everywhere. But why on Instagram does everyone turn up at once? No one can ever answer anything about social media. I don't think anyone really knows. It's a bit of they like to keep things close, right? They don't tell you what goes on. But yeah, Instagram's the only one where everyone turns up in a clump. Stuff like that. I don't know why it kind of annoys me, because I don't know why. Why is that different from TikTok and Facebook? Okay. How do you stop a 3-year-old hitting a 1-year-old? Okay, put on the behavior board, no hitting. And when they do, they have to share their favorite toy with the 1-year-old. And you play with the 1-year-old with that toy. They can't join in. They can watch it. So, yeah. Check out the behavior board. That's free. In the link above, you can get my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, my big boot camp course, or you can hire me for coaching. Well, you can email me about coaching. I can't take everyone on all the time. Today, I took some new people on, but I can't do that every day. Just depends on the day. And also what you're going through. Tell me why you want to hire me. I might decide that you don't need coaching. I might say, just get this course or, try the free behavior board. What behaviors do you recommend having on the behavior board for 3? If they hit, you always put no hitting. You can put something really simple like make your bed in the morning. It can be sloppy, but make your bed every morning before 10 o'clock. So it's not just stopping doing something. Sometimes it's starting doing something. Or put your shoes in the basket when you come in. So instead of throwing their shoes everywhere, that's a really common one with parents. They have cubbies or baskets or shelves or whatever for shoes in the mudroom or the entrance. And then so that's a really common one. Little children can learn how to do that. What do you do when they do a bad behavior in your absence but tell you the truth? 5 years old. Still say, thanks for telling me that. So there's still going to be a consequence. But yeah, I really appreciate you telling me. So that's the reward, the pride in being honest. Don't not punish because they told you about it. Because you know what? Kids will use that against you. They'll do anything, then they'll tell you about it. You got to think about how could this go wrong? And I've seen that go wrong. It's like someone said to me, where was it? I don't know, one of my courses, maybe someone asked a question and they said, oh shoot, I can't remember what it was. And they said, when they do it right, what's the reward when they do the right thing? I'm like, are you kidding me? I don't reward for good behavior because they're going to withhold good behavior until there's a reward on the offer. You see, good behavior is my baseline. I don't reward for good behavior. Why would you? That doesn't make any sense at all to me. Good behavior is my baseline. I don't reward for a baseline, if you put a reward chart up in the house, you know what you're saying to your children? I hate reward charts. If you put that up in the house, you know what you're saying? You're normally rotten, but if you should happen to be good, you'll get a reward. You see, it's sending the wrong message. You don't reward for good behavior because you just expect that. You focus on, you deal with bad behavior, but then you focus on the good kid. And if you got a reward chart up, you're focusing on the bad kid. The behavior board's focusing on the good kid. You want me to explain that? Doesn't seem to make any sense, does it? Do you know what the behavior board says? You're normally wonderful. That's my focus. But if you should happen to do something bad, I know how to deal with it. See the difference, the shift? Oops, I got to scroll ahead because people come and go. And I know there's questions on YouTube, but they didn't come in quick enough when I was transitioning from Instagram to TikTok. I'll get to them when I'm moving over to TikTok. I mean, when I was transitioning from Facebook to Instagram. When I transition from Instagram to TikTok, that's when I'll answer the YouTube questions. So don't put a behavior board up. Yeah, you do. Oh, you mean for the 4-year-old is the twins? Is that it? Is that the one? No, not right now. Try what I said. See how it goes. Consistent corrective actions. You can look up toddlers' consistent corrective actions. You can actually look up, I actually have a mini course on toddlers who hit and bite. It explains all that if you're interested. It's one of my mini courses. Okay. Oh gosh, I want to read this out because I just know I'm going to have a lot to say about it. But I'm looking for the first part. There was two parts. It must be two parts, but I can't go back. It's too far back now. Sorry. I won't say what it was, but I know it would have got me riled up because I disagreed with it so much. How long did it to let a 20-month-old have a tantrum before intervening? That depends. I would say a good 20 minutes is fine. But even when you intervene, you use indirect redirection. Indirect diversion. Didn't make any sense. So I would sit and maybe play something they like or read a book they like out loud to yourself. You still don't look at them. The idea is it'll sort of shake them out of it and they'll come over and play. Do not discuss a tantrum before, during, or afterwards. Do not do that. There's no point whatsoever. I know I get a lot of clients who are child psychologists, teachers, principals, because I couldn't do their job, by the way. And parenting's personal. It's different. Those are institutions. Those are business relationships with children. I teach parenting. It's personal, right? Very, very different. That's why I get hired by so many professionals. Like I said, I couldn't do their job. But they often ask me, they say, why do you not discuss a tantrum? And I put it to them. Why would you? What is the point? It's over and done. Why harp on it? What is the point? And they never have come up with anything. Well, to help them regulate their emotions, no, this is why that doesn't work. No. I'm very quick with that. I believe very strongly in that. I've worked with kids for over 50 years. It's just, now I'm teaching what I know. I'm teaching what's worked for me for 50 years with hundreds of kids, right? And all my clients. So you might find someone else who opposes what I do, but their program might work too, and it might suit you better. It's like religion. I don't think there is one way or the highway. I'm just not like that. I'm very open-minded to stuff, but my way is the only way I teach, okay? Because it's what I know through experience, and I've never looked at anyone else. I've never read a book on parenting or kids. I wouldn't need to because I was learning through kids. Why on earth would I let someone else tell me how to do what I know works? Do something else when I know what I do works. Anyway. Just because I'm old, I've been doing it for so long. When to transition out of a crib? As soon as they hit the floor. Once they flop or they're almost about to flop, that's when I would transition. Both my kids flopped out of the crib. I saw it coming with my daughter. My son, I didn't see it coming. He was earlier. He was a bit more active, and neither of them were really active, but he was a bit more, so she was very cautious. But yeah, he hit the floor. So yeah, I just dismantled the crib. And then I just put the mattress down on the floor, the crib mattress, and then I put pillows all around it. So yeah, once they hit the floor or they're about to. Did your potty party, huge progress, went from 0 success to lots. We are still struggling with number 2. Any tips? Yeah, I have a potty party course, and it's, I think tantrums and potty party are my 2 most popular toddler courses. Anyway, number 2. The reason why they don't want to poop is because they get splashback, or they don't like that pulling, hanging feeling, or they've got a cold bum because they're sitting there for quite some time waiting usually, right? And I won't go into graphic detail. There is more details involved in this, but I won't go into it. So those are the 3 big ones: splashback, hanging feeling, and cold. Hike the heat up in the bathroom, have the porta potty so that they can, and you put toilet paper in the bottom so they can feel it touching their bum and they don't get the hang, and there's no water to splash them back. So, and explain all this, have them help out with this, give it a go. More boys are more likely to have that happen because if they get a splashback, there's more equipment hanging down there for them to get splashed. Way more common that boys don't want to poop on the toilet. Most things aren't like, I've never found boys tantrum more than girls or vice versa. And teenagers, I don't find boys are more trouble than girls. Girls are snottier, but boys often get into more physical problems, like driving off a cliff or something. They get a bit more testosterone, they're more dangerous. But I've never found that. But not wanting to poop in the toilet is definitely boys more than girls. By the way, if you're messaging me, I don't get a chance. I just can't be consistent with this yet. I am flat out busy these days. So, I can't let anyone else answer my messages. So, because they're all so personal. And that's not the place to get a hold of me. If you really need to get a hold of me, email me. And they're all in a queue. I prioritize things. If it's crisis work, if it's existing clients, I always look at those right away. But it might take me a few days or even a week to get back to you. But email is the best way. If you really need to get a hold of me, email me. Like someone said, why are you not answering my messages? Because every so often I'll go in there and I'm like, if you saw what I have to do, you'd understand. Like I just can't get to them all. And plus, it never asked me parenting questions specifically like for your own kids on email or that this is where I do all that. I don't answer general parenting questions anywhere but on the lives because I just don't have time. And yeah. Okay, 9-year-old stealing money from my purse. Any advice? Yeah, put down no stealing on the behavior board. Don't make a big emotional deal on, you shouldn't steal, you're rotten because you steal. And just say, okay, you stole money out of my purse. So from now on, no stealing. I would put no stealing or lying because they often go together, right? So no stealing or lying. Put that on the behavior board and then have a consequence for it. Yeah, check out the boot camp course. They generally wouldn't do anything like that if you're a leader. The boot camp course is, it's in the link. All my stuff's in the link. It's all in one link, I think. Anyway, so it's all about your leadership. So they're stealing because of your parenting. It's just the way it is. Your parenting is everything. You lead, they will follow. All their behavior is 100% a direct result of your parenting, which is good news. It means you can fix it. You can't change anyone else. You can only change yourself. Change your parenting style from a pleaser or an authority and turn into a leader. And that stuff just doesn't happen because they look up to you. They like themselves when they're with you. They would be embarrassed to do something like that with a leader. They just would. It'd be humiliating. Because it would, have you ever had a favorite coach or a favorite teacher that you really idolize? Would you ever steal from them? Or, you know what I mean? Like that you want them to sort of look up to you. Well, you do want them to look up to you. You want them to want to please you when they're children. Not because they're obedient soldiers, just because they like themselves when they're with you. And they want to keep that going. Oops, I got to scroll ahead because people come and go. I don't have a clue what you're talking about here. Is it normal that every method I use to parent my 2.5-year-old, she masters it more than me and she uses it in the most clever and manipulative way? Are you using my methods? Because that's kind of impossible. So yeah, and she's 2.5. How much power? Boy, is she in charge. Yeah, you're negotiating too much. You're explaining yourself too much, pretty much guaranteed. You're giving her a lot of choices and you're asking her what she wants to do. Right? Yeah. She gets it. She knows she's in charge. Yeah. You must be new here. Yeah, that wouldn't happen. There we go. For example, when she cries so much to get what she can't have, I say, oh, baby, you're fine. And if you want to cry, that's totally fine. Why are you talking to her? She's having a fit. Just let it go. You're feeding it. You're giving her attention. Where you put your attention and focus is what grows. So yeah. Anyway, just keep watching. Anyway, I got to go. I'm moving over to TikTok, and then I'm going to answer the YouTube questions because I got a whole bunch of them here now. And I only answer them when I'm transitioning over on social media. So, because I can't go back and forth, it confuses me. So I confuse easy. Anyway, check out the link above. You can get my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, my big boot camp course. That's all about you and your leadership, 3 to 12 years old. Your Leadership 5 Weeks. And or you can look into coaching. You have to email me and tell me why you want to work with me if you do, because I'm just busy. I can't take everyone on right now. But if you're in crisis, and I mean like serious stuff, I'll take you on. I always do, especially teen crisis work, because their problems can be pretty big. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me, and I'm moving over to TikTok now. Happy parenting. Bye now. What has big ear? TikTok starts running ads right away now. It didn't used to. Okay, so YouTube. How can I get my homeschooled 7-year-old to use his inside voice? I don't know about that. I would use humor with that. And I would say, homeschooled 7-year-old to use his inside. I would say, no, I would say, look, when you're yelling, it's not going to get you anything you want. And then explain, use humor and say, this is yelling, this is not, just try and use humor, because they often don't know what inside voice is. Like, what I mean is they're so used to using their outside voice, they don't even have an inside voice anymore. Okay. I didn't realize you had a YouTube, but I actually prefer it because I can listen in the background. Excellent. Yeah, I do have a YouTube. I'm just not big on there. I've got like 1 million followers across all my social media. YouTube is not contributing very much to that at all. That's okay. I'll get there one day. I'm a single mom with 5 kids, 12-year-old girl, 11. Oh my goodness. Ex kept older boys for 13 months after visit, and I went to family court to get them back. Wow. He is still controlling, using the children, undermining my parenting. Therefore, the kids don't listen to me. Dad is facing criminal. Okay, look, that's a mess. That's coaching. I can't answer that here, obviously. You're going to have to hire me for coaching if you can manage that. And that would be, not everyone wants to pay me for coaching. Or some people can afford to and don't want to, or you might not be able to afford to, whatever. But yeah, that would be coaching. I would have to assess the situation, decide where to go. And it's tough. It's tough. There's no guarantees with any of this stuff. We're dealing with human beings here. But I do understand leadership. I do understand teenagers. I do understand crises and abuse and all that, because I've worked with so many kids who've had it. So yeah, it's tough. How should I deal with persistent arguing? Even when I tell him I've already answered that, I won't answer again. He was still go, well, I don't know how old. Oh, he's 8. Okay. So just say, if you keep at me, there'll be a consequence. Okay. That's up to you. I would say, if you keep, and then if he keeps at you, okay, you keep coming at me, and there's media blackout for 24 hours. Your choice. What are you going to do? He's 8. He can understand that. Be prepared to head into media blackout for 24 hours and have a 24 hours from hell. But it's worth it. He'll learn. He'll learn. Anyway, check out the behavior board. I kind of came in hard with that one, but that's what I would do. And check out the behavior board. Or you might want to do the boot camp course. If he's arguing with you a lot, arguing takes 2 people. Like, I never repeat myself, and I never explain myself. If I'm disciplining, I know I'm fair and reasonable. I do not explain myself. They already get it. They're not morons. I don't understand. Oh, well, you'll learn, or you'll know next time. I would not repeat myself. I don't explain myself. When I'm hitting that leadership role really hard with the discipline and saying what's going to happen, I do not explain myself. They already get it. I've already said it once. They're not morons. They get it. They just want to change it. As soon as you start explaining yourself, they're in charge. They feel the shift. You're weakening. They just feel the shift. Okay. How much is coaching? Check it all out. I only have 5 sessions now because it kind of correlates with the boot camp course. The boot camp course goes for 5 weeks. 5 weeks is a really good period of time. And or the reason I got rid of the 1 and 3 sessions is I can't get the best results for you. It's that 4th session is when we get into the in the moment discipline. And I try and rush it with 3 sessions, and I was always frustrated. And 1 session, I always hated that because I don't even get to check in. So I talk to you for a whole hour. I try and throw as much in as I can. I get like almost work up a sweat. I'm trying to get as much information to you as I can. And then I don't even get to check in, see how it went. Lots of people hire me again, though. Sometimes they just want to take me out for a test drive, but I'm past that now. If you don't know you want to hire me after all the lives I do, you'll probably never know, so. Okay, so here we are on TikTok. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer. I just answered the YouTube ones, or most of them. I don't answer stuff. Yeah, I don't answer everything on there. Yeah. Like 21-month-old being told no. It's consistent corrective actions. I'm going to read out my top 5 tips for parenting toddlers. That might help. Okay. This is my top 5 tips for parenting toddlers. Number 1, child-proof your home so you never have to say no. Number 2, set up a toy rotation system so they're never bored. I've done lots of videos on that, by the way. Number 3 is when you want to connect with a toddler. This is under the age of 3 as a toddler. When you want to connect with them, you enter their world. You don't take them to the nail salon. You go to the park and roll down the hill with them. They look at you differently. When you connect with them in their world, it's part of your leadership. They look at you differently. Number 4 is stop with the mini therapy sessions when you're disciplining. All this explaining and talking about big feelings and big emotions, it's absolute garbage. It was invented to make the mom feel good about herself. It is not for the child at all. Anyway, so they're about consistent corrective actions. Their language is actions, not words. All these mini therapy sessions, my God, they're trendy right now. It's all feeding the mom, though. It's nothing to do with the kids, nothing. Okay, number 5 is stop trying to figure them out. Toddlers are not figure-outable. They're brand new, fresh human beings. They're just forming. They're insane because they haven't developed sanity yet. They're not there yet. What if you've only been in the world for 2 years, and the first year you were a potato laying on a mattress? Like, come on, your expectations of toddlers is usually the problem. It's totally out of whack. So yeah, they're just nuts. Whenever I'm hired by someone with older kids who also has toddlers, I'll sometimes say, just so I can tell you this, oh, do you want to discuss the toddler? And they look at me and they say, yeah, they're just nuts. Like they get it. They're just crazy. They haven't formed yet. Great. Okay, this is Kelly. Just wanted to say thank you for all your advice. It has given me a lot of confidence and it works. It does work. I've been doing this for so many years, but you got to do it. Like the thing is, you can't do it for one day and, oh, that didn't work. You got to do it. Commit yourself to 3 weeks and see if you should start to notice a difference if you're following through. Okay? Also, if you're not going to follow me, like my style, I just says it like it is. I have no filter. So I just say what I think you need to hear. I'm not here to be popular. I'm here to help you. I'm here to change. I'm here to change how you parent. I want you to be a leader. I want you to enjoy your children. I want you to get all the notes I used to get from all the teachers and principals. If every student was as wonderful as your kids, school would be a pleasure. I got that every single year, handwritten note by the principal, every single year about my kids. They were nice kids. They were confident. They were chatty. They were happy kids, but they were really respectful. So I want everyone to have that, not just for your sake, but for your kids' sake, for the teacher's sake, for society's sake. I don't want you to raise someone like this. You didn't validate my feelings. Well, I'm just a bus driver, lady. You know that entitled, ugh. I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't have to associate with that out there in the world. That's what I'm trying to end, all this entitlement. It's that pleaser parent style. That's what did that. If you're a pleaser parent, you're raising self-entitled snowflakes with mental health issues. They're all victims. Woe is me. I deserve everything. I don't have to do anything for it. I'm exaggerating. Yes, I'm exaggerating. How do you go about family undermining your parenting style? This comes up every day in Alive. There's only one thing you can say that I ever recommend. If someone's a pushy Budinsky, there's not much you can do to change them, okay? But what I would say, because you're throwing it back at them, I always say hold a mirror up to someone who's difficult. And this is how you do it. You say, when you undermine my parenting and when you criticize it, it hurts my feelings. What can they say to that? Because they know every time they undermine you, they're hurting your feelings, right? Oh, well, I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but you do. Just thought you'd like to know that. So see what they say to that. But if they're that difficult, it can't change them anyway. I'm lucky. I'm in my 60s now. I've eliminated every bossy, Budinsky, and snotty, snarky person in my whole life. I never see anyone I don't have to see anymore. And I don't have to see anyone anymore. I work for myself. You know what I mean? Like, it's just freedom. It's wonderful. So, but yeah, you've got parents and in-laws, and believe me, it's not my parents I ever complained about. My parents were just lovely. Oh, I lucked out. I got adopted and I just lucked out within the parenting department. How to help introverted shy kids. It does. Okay, I'm going to tell you something weird. When I was a little kid, I remember talking to my mom once, and she was trying, and I kept saying, "Oh, they're not very friendly. They're not very friendly." And mom knew those kids, and she goes, "Sweetie, they're shy." I didn't understand what shy was. Like, I avoided shy kids like the plague because I just thought they weren't friendly. I thought if you're a nice person, you talk to people. Like, I talk to anybody. So I didn't understand shy. So isn't that interesting? As a kid, I thought they were just all miserable and not friendly, but they're just shy because they weren't talking. So I thought, oh, they're just miserable. But then I learned once you get to know them that they're, just like the rest of us, they're friends. You know what I mean? But yeah, shy kids that I think you're kind of born that way, to be honest, a little bit. But I got a lot of my social stuff from my mom. My mom was a real extrovert, a real warm, sweet lady, and funny. And yeah, I really was never shy. So I think the thing is that if they tend to be like what they see. If you're extremely extroverted and friendly with everyone you see, it's like there's an ease about it. They tend to pick up on that energy and they tend to follow suit. If you're a leader, they want to be like you and they watch you and they want to be like you. So yeah, they're watching you. So you teach them that by showing them. There's lots of different advice I give on that one. That's just the one I'm giving today. But yeah. Okay, foster son is 11, who is with us 2 years, treats me like his hero and my husband like dirt. I don't know. I don't have no idea what's going on there. I don't know how you treat him. I don't know how your husband does. So I would, you'd have to hire me for that. I haven't got a clue. I'd have to assess the situation. Any advice to turn it around? Yeah, you might want to hire me. I'd have to assess it. I don't know why he does that. Could be lots and lots and lots of different reasons. Usually they treat the pleaser parent like dirt, though. They treat like a dish rag. They wipe their feet all over you. If you're a pleaser parent, give in to anything they say, trying to please them, and that's usually the person they treat like dirt, generally. But there's other reasons too, but I don't know what's going on in your household. Daycare, I don't discuss daycare. It's not my thing. I only teach parenting. So, but huge portion of my clients are daycare workers, teachers, principals, child psychologists. Because they are very good with dealing with children in institutions and business. That's what that is. I'm personal, like it's home-based. Parenting is personal. It's very different. A lot of stuff doesn't transfer over. Like I couldn't do their jobs. I couldn't be a daycare worker or a child psychologist. I don't do that. I'm like mothering, I'm parenting. That's my specialty. So that's why they hire me, because they realize they're different. There's some stuff that there's some stuff that transfers over to all those roles, but a lot doesn't. He said she won't do the consequence. There's two consequences. If a child won't do the positive action consequence, you revert to the negative deprivation. You can always take something away. You don't start with that one. Sometimes I will, but very rarely. I don't get parents to do that usually. But yeah, so there's two consequences. That's why you want them to do something good. If they broke a rule, you want them to do something good as the consequence. If they refuse, say that's fine. 24-hour media blackout starts now. Bang, it starts now. Do not go back on it. Once you've said that, it's got to happen. Oh, okay, fine, I'll go do the dishes now. And they can run and do them. I don't care. Thanks for that. Can I watch TV? Well, no, 24-hour media blackout started 10 minutes ago. Not fair, not fair. I didn't do the dishes. Well, you'll know next time, won't you? Once you said something, it has to happen. The calmer you are, the more effective it is. If they keep at you, say, I'm not discussing it anymore. You keep at me, we'll make it even worse. It's your choice. No matter what I do, I can't get a routine to stick. Well, you can either look at the boot camp course or you can look into coaching, because that's what I teach, is how to get routines and how you make stuff stick. I never use that term, but is it wrong that neither of us are the pleaser parent? We're both strict at times. Well, are you more the authority? It doesn't matter. You can both be leaders. You can both be authorities, and you can have an authority and a pleaser and a leader and a pleaser. You'll never see an authority and a leader in the same house, but you'll often see two pleasers. Those are the disaster homes. The kids are just in charge, right? So yeah, that was a mouthful there, but yeah, it's okay that you don't have a pleaser in the household, but you do want a leader or even an authority. An authority is better than a pleaser. Pleaser is the worst. There's no guidance. There's no mentorship. There's no leadership. Their kids are lost. They're the most disrespectful children, and lowest self-esteem too. It's in the toilet. I know pleaser parent style. I saw that coming in about 30, 40 years ago. It started coming in with participation awards. Is that the stupidest thing you ever heard of? I just turn up and I get an award. I don't have to earn anything. I'm wonderful. It's so awful. Anyway, and then it blossomed. It was feeding the mom, making the mom feel good. That's all it was doing. Nothing to do with the kids. 5-year-old loves the consequences, so I feel lesson is never learned. I've tried to change them up. Well, I don't know what they are. So, and I don't know what your situation is. If nothing's working and they're 5 years old, you're missing something. Like there's something not quite right there. I don't know what it is. If you tried the boot camp course, kind of explains a lot of examples, and anyway, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I know how to get respect with pretty much any kid or teenager. I know how to give respect to get it. And when I'm teaching parents, when they follow through, it works. There's something that, if it's not working, they're doing something. There's always something, and they go, oh, I didn't even think about that. Well, I can't possibly think of everything because there's millions of things you could be doing right or wrong. So, and I'll tell you something cute though. I told this story yesterday. It's one of my favorites. I had this client that I've never had anyone like this before. She was a very sweet, soft-spoken lady, but she was really dealing with a lot of really bad stuff with her kids. Like she was going through a lot. And the first 2 sessions, she never asked any questions or virtually said nothing. I was talking through the whole thing. I don't know why I didn't confront her on it. Normally I would. I just felt that not to. I don't know why. First 2 sessions, all she did was go like this and then look down. Like that and look down. That's all she did. And then on the 3rd session, and she was very upset and serious about all this, And then the 3rd session, she turned up like this. And I said, what's going on? She goes, it's working. And I said, what's working? And she goes, she showed me, she wrote down everything I said and she just did it. She said, and she was very academic. She had like a whole bunch of masters and PhDs and stuff. She was just very academic. And she said, I'm a good studier. She goes, I just wrote it all down and just did it. I didn't question it. I didn't think about it. I just did it. And it worked beautifully. Isn't that interesting? Because usually emotions get in the way. I don't learn like that. I'm not that smart. I have to question everything and I have to do it all wrong. And then, okay, now I'm ready to do it right. That's how I learn. So most people are more like that. But yeah, I think she was just a higher echelon of intelligence. And she just thought, well, I paid this money. I'm just going to do it. Isn't that interesting? Never had that before. So anyway, she did great. When you do the takeaway consequence, and at first it worked, but after a bit they don't care. They could be just putting up a front. There's usually, okay, if they pretend that they don't care, it's because they're building up, they've got, how do I put this? They don't want to admit that they were wrong. They're trying to show that it doesn't bother them. There's a little bit of that. That'll usually disappear. When you're a leader, that doesn't come into play because you're not making, they feel good about themselves when you're a leader. So potentially you're making them feel bad about breaking the rule. You don't want to do that. They won't like what you do about it, but don't hit them in the self-esteem. Just say, well, that you broke the rule, so there's the consequence. Don't say stuff like, well, you shouldn't have done that. That kind of stuff makes that wall go up. Be careful. It's stuff like that parents do, and that can really just tank the whole thing. Anyway, I got to get going. So thanks so much for joining me. If you want to check out my link above, you can get my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, my big boot camp course, 3 to 12 years old. It's all about you and your leadership, 5 weeks to be a leader. And then, or you can look into coaching. You have to email me first because I'm really busy. I can't take on everybody these days. So today I took on a few new clients, but tomorrow I might not be able to. So it changes every day. Anyway, I got to get going. Thanks so much for joining me and happy parenting. Bye now.